just in case I was going to be the
What
one that
is?
said it.
Shut up, dude. Fucking ruined it already. God, shit. What's up, guys? It's episode 13 of Your House, Our Rules, the sports podcast. We are here. We're going to talk about some stuff tonight. I'm going to be here to talk about the draft because that's my thing. Some of the things that have been going on with the sports podcast we haven't gone in a while. NCAA basketball's been over, so me personally, I haven't had anything to do, which means that it's kind of on these two losers to get their shit together, and they're just now getting it together. So, okay. So we're doing that. They might talk a little bit baseball and NBA playoffs. I wanted to cover NBA playoffs, but never got around to it. So we're gonna go ahead and get into the draft and do all that. But before you do that, fucking stop what you're doing. Like, comment, subscribe. Comments are the most important. We're finding out how that hits the algorithm. So fucking just do that. Click the buttons. Share it with your friends, please.
Type a letter. Doesn't even, just type a letter.
Yeah, right. I don't give a fuck. That works. Helps you hit the algorithm. So
F's in the chat.
anyway, let's move on. 2023 NFL draft. It's over with. Some teams did good. Some teams not so well. Our team, the Cincinnati Bengals. I think all around, a lot of people have us in like the top 5 at least with like our draft grades and stuff like that. And the first couple rounds, I was pretty mad about the first one, Miles Murphy. But then after like a day, I thought about it and I was like, you know what? It does make more sense to get some defensive players, especially with all the contracts ending next year. And then the first couple rounds were good, and then there was some iffy picks for us in the later rounds. But what did you guys like overall see with the draft? I know I was watching it with Wallet, so we're gonna go with Stolzy first.
Well, I know, like, that first night, I kind of spent, like, talking you off a ledge, off the Miles Murphy ledge, because you were like, I know that we both wanted Michael Mayer really, really bad. And at the end of the day, we've been saying even prior to, the draft, like, this is going to be a tight end factory.
Yeah.
Like, Irvin, congratulations on your 3-year contract next year, wherever you're about to play, Washington, whatever. But it's one of those things, like, you got our entire defense coming up on a contract year, essentially. So you got Trey Hendrickson coming up. And honestly, what I think this does is you're going to have fresh legs with Miles Murphy and Trey Hendrickson being able to come in and out. It's two different style rushes. Trey's a lot more of a finesse style run. He likes to do the rips, and Miles Murphy's just going to go. He's a lot more like a lot more bull rushy, a lot more like in your face kind of rush.
Yeah, big
So
boy.
it's gonna be nice to be able to filter those kind of guys, but potentially what it also allows us to do is put Miles Murphy on the opposite side of the line and move Sam Hubbard inside to work next to DJ Reader, which I really like the idea of. So that was, and then another thing too is that he comes from Clemson, also where DJ Reader played, and it's also the same 4-3 base defense. So he's not going to have to learn anything. It's going to be a lot more reacting versus
Right, and that's what a lot of people were telling me. That's what a lot of people were telling me because I originally was like, I wanted that Nolan Smith guy from Georgia, who was rated just one step behind him, I think. But I was like, my whole theory was like,
linebacker.
coming out of Clemson, the ACC was absolutely dog shit this year. Clemson was highly overrated. Georgia, that defense has won 2 straight national championships. Like, it comes from a tested fucking background. It would make sense to get a guy like that. But after looking at it and people explaining it to me a little bit, he's a lot smaller, faster, and people were like, "Oh, you're just an NFL combine whore." And I was like, first of all, no, I could give a fuck less about what anybody does at the combine. And then second of all, I was like, I just think he's more tested. But when it comes down, got a big guy, and the clip that really sold me on him was the Zay Flowers, the new wide receiver that Baltimore took in the first round, comes off the edge and chases his bitch ass down. Yeah, so I was like, I like that. I like that. That's our first pick, and a lot of people don't understand, like, this guy was predicted to be in the top 15 of the draft starting out, and fucking we got him at 28. So any comments for you over there, Mike?
Oh yeah.
Hey,
No,
Kingsley.
I actually really, really, really liked this pick, and his athleticism is fantastic. They can also slide him over into the tackle spot if they need to rotate some of the tackles in and out. He's a multi-dimensional defensive lineman, and there's so much more that goes into what they look at for in a player as far as schemes and how they would fit. And obviously you got contract guys coming up on defense, obviously a big deal. But at the same time, I also look at the first interview I watched when he came into Cincinnati right after the draft, his character too. Notice something about the Bengals since Zach Taylor's been Very high on character.
Mm-hmm.
A head coach is extremely, like, listening to Jordan Battle speak. That guy, like, he was a 3-year starter on Alabama.
Yeah.
a
Three-year
3-year
starter.
How do you
starter
get him? How do you get him in the fourth round?
in third round,
Third
round,
round.
but
Yeah, it was
still,
third round.
Charlie was the fourth. Yeah.
some people had Jordan Battle going to the Bengals in the first round.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's a little bit too high in a reach, but still, they got him in the third. Anyway, Miles Murphy, I absolutely love that pick because, like I said, they're getting a lot of high quality, high character guys, and that goes in with the rest of the team of which they already have established. Now you're just building upon that locker room. I love that pick.
Yeah. And with
Love that pick.
going, like, we were watching it, and me, Jeff, and Mike were all watching together, and we're like, and even Stolze, who was texting me because we both wanted Michael Mayer. It was our guy from the
I
very
didn't.
beginning. And
I did not.
Yeah, I know you didn't, but even though we were still sitting there, we're sitting there watching it, and we're like, when are they going to get a fucking tight end? And after the first pick, it kind of made things a little bit more apparent. But after like the first 3 rounds, it was like, okay, what's going on? And then when they didn't even go after that Kuntz guy, I was like, they clearly don't want a tight end. But even before that, I kind of accepted that. So our second pick was DJ Turner, and when they came up, I remember me and Jeff were talking about it. We're like, well, with who we got left on the board, if we're going with the best possible pick, it makes sense to be DJ Turner. And with our first 3 guys attacking the defense, contracts running out, we got a guy from Clemson, a guy from Michigan, and a guy from Alabama. You're talking about 3 of the most tested teams in college football year after year. It's just all around good picks in my opinion for the first 3.
Speed.
The thing that I really
one thing
like
with our entire draft. Our got high athletic rating on all of them.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
everybody's
His
very
speed
fast.
too, especially with DJ Turner, man.
Fortune speed.
Oh my gosh, dude! If you look at our defensive backs as a whole, everyone that we've got as a defensive back is either a 5 or a 4.55 or whatever or lower.
Well, Jeff was talking about that the like athletic rating or whatever. It's on a scale of 10 or whatever. I think every guy that we had on our draft this year is 9.5 plus. Except maybe the punter, but even the punter that we picked up, he didn't have a touchback all year, and apparently he's got a hell of a leg. And we have Chrisman, who's already our punter right now, but apparently this dude's the favorite. I need to look him up, his name real quick. He looks like a man's man too.
He does. He got that mustache going on, but
Brad Robbins.
So he kicks the ball really high in the air to the point where his elevation, I don't know what the stat was exactly, but there was something that I heard or saw that the elevation of his punts last season and the season before that were to the point where I don't think he had very many or any touchbacks. From a certain a certain area in the field or something like that. It was crazy.
I'm good with it just because of Chrisman's last punt as a Bengal, because literally that's the whole reason why there was even able to be a return, is because it was a low hang time and we couldn't get anybody down there.
Well, we also have to accept the fact that he's a brand new guy on the team.
He went to Ohio State.
He did, but also we've been pampered with a punter for the fucking past 20 years because our fucking punter has been the most consistent Bengal to ever put on fucking stripes.
Kevin Huber, man.
Huber has been that man for 20 years now. So
speaking of hating Ohio State, that's my favorite thing about DJ Turner is the fact that he absolutely shut down that ridiculous. I mean, didn't shut them down, but they won against Ohio State and they have a ridiculous receiving core.
Yeah,
every one of those guys is. I mean, obviously Jackson Smith and Jigba already got drafted. Pending next season, Marvin Harrison Jr. is a top 5 pick.
Yeah, I would imagine he is the consensus number 1 pick unless the team needs a quarterback. I don't think there's anybody who's going to be close to him. He might win the Heisman as a receiver or at least be in contention.
Offensive lineman. There might be an offensive lineman or something, but everybody loves him already.
Yeah.
Just because DJ Stroud's
that's the type of fucking receiver that it doesn't matter if you have a need on your team specifically, you go out and get that guy because he's going to be a future Hall of Famer. There's no doubt about it.
The other thing I want to say, go ahead, Billy.
No, you can go ahead if you got something else
I was going to say the other thing I wanted to say is too, just in general with the Bengals draft class, is they didn't reach for anybody. They let the draft come to them.
Yeah,
a lot of
the draft come to them. They did not reach.
You could tell with all their picks. I mean, after the first 2 rounds, all the picks were kind of just coming in back to back to back. But you could tell. First round, fucking Miles Murphy came up. The Bengals had their pick in within fucking 10 seconds. It was
almost so many of them were like that, and they had their guy, and they let it come to them.
Yeah,
You all right? There's
they knew.
Philly or something.
Nah, yeah, my house was like rumbling for a second. I don't know what was going on, but
Tornado.
yeah, they had a plan. They knew who was coming up for each pick that they did. Even trading back to get Battle in the third because we were like we're looking at that thing and we're like, well, they're going to go after Darnell Washington, and then they traded back, and we're like, okay. I can't remember who else was on the board at the time, but we're like, well, at that point, I was like, they might as well trade back to Kansas City, get another pick in the sixth. I was like, it makes sense, and then they picked up Battle, which was I was a little bit of a shock to me, but you
It
know
was
what? Safety was one of the positions that I personally said there was a need for from the very beginning because our safety core got demolished over there over the offseason. So even though we picked up two more guys and have two guys under there, it's nice to have someone who can come in and work under and fucking build a tried and true Bengal. Know what I mean?
I don't think there was much that the Bengals were interested in like in the previous picks, and that's why they traded back. Because like when you look at it, the players picked in front of them were Michael Wilson, wide receiver, Darnell Washington, tight end, Wanya Morris, offensive tackle, Dorian Williams, interior linebacker, DeMarvion Overshawn, interior linebacker. Like they weren't
We
going to
thought
take
they were
it.
going with
Nope.
Jones. That's who we thought they were going
Juwan
for.
Jones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like they weren't gonna go for any of those guys. So it's just like
yeah.
you're kind of just
No, it made sense.
trade back
Yeah, no, the trade made
anyway.
sense. I was pretty consensus with the guys we were chilling with. But moving on from that, let's talk about a little bit of the later rounds that we have. So we got Charlie Jones in the fourth, which is whatever.
That's what
I don't think we
No.
need more depth at wide receiver, but one, okay. I don't know why we got the Princeton guy too. At that point, I think that it's just fucking overkill at wide receiver. I don't. Jeff was talking about that dude all night, which is cool.
He was.
Yeah, he
He
was talking about
really
him
was.
all fucking night. And then Chase Brown from Illinois, the running back that we got. At first, I wasn't necessarily sold on him because I thought we could have gone a little bit earlier in the running back category, especially because right now it is something that we need. We need a guy who's going to play next year. All we have is Mixon, and it's even been questionable whether or not he's going to be, even though after the draft, ZT did announce that he's going to be the starter next year. And it's looking like Chase Brown's going to be the second guy. Now, the one thing that really sold me on him is when, I saw the clip of him getting drafted, fucking just breaking down, bawling on fucking camera or whatever. You'll love to see that from a guy who gets drafted, man, because you know he's going to
Absolutely.
work. You know he's going to work. Yeah, but you guys have any statements about those three in particular?
100%.
Yeah,
Charlie
go
Jones.
ahead.
I have got to talk about Charlie Jones. Like the thing about Charlie Jones, played in the Big 12 or played in the Big 10. One of those like he literally passed on a scholarship at Illinois to go walk on at Purdue to just play. No scholarship. I'm paying tuition. I want to play better ball. So he goes to Purdue, and by the way, he goes up against Joey Porter Jr., who was the first pick of the second round of a team that is in his division, and in one game targeted 14 times, 12 receptions, 150 yards, 153 yards, one touchdown. The main reason why I really like this pick, though, is because what it allows the Bengals to do, because Charlie lines up outside more than like a Tyler Boyd or a Trent Irwin or Trent Taylor does. So it allows the Bengals to slide Jamar potentially into the slot, which makes just an absolute matchup nightmare with Jamar in the middle of the field. And with the way that Jamar can bounce off tacklers and everything, you hit him a quick slant, dude, that's 75 yards waiting to happen.
Yep.
Just one of those things that's a lot more versatility, and he's a bigger Trent Taylor, he's a bigger Trent Irwin, so if anybody gets hurt, you just have another guy slide right on in there.
Yeah, and that's why I don't necessarily mind that pick, but getting two guys like that too, because fucking apparently the dude from Princeton's like that as well, fucking just like it. So I mean, we're also looking for a Boyd replacement, which I get because he takes up a lot of cap space, so it makes sense to get rid of him next year unless he really wants to take a deal. But we just got too much fucking power because you got to think we got Trenton Irwin on the bench too, who fucking had a fucking hell of a year and showed that he's got what it takes to compete for that position. So why the fuck do we need goddamn 7 receivers at this point in time? It just seems like a little bit overkill to me, in my opinion.
I mean, what were we going to draft? I mean,
We could have done a running back, but
need.
it ended up fucking falling back to the 5th round, the Chase Brown guy. Which I saw a couple guys from like Minnesota. I know there's a guy from UAB that a lot of people were talking about. I think the Tulane guy was gone at that point in time. That a lot of people were talking about.
Gone. Deuce Vaughn, I think, was gone. I think the
No,
Cowboys got
the Kansas City guy. That's Deuce Vaughn, right?
Kansas State. Yeah,
Yeah, Kansas State. He was still on the board. He was still on the board.
I love
Yeah.
this pick.
Yeah.
I love what they
Well,
did in the fourth round.
yeah, I do, but I just don't see the receiver. But
Charlie, I'm all over the Charlie pick, dude. I love it.
I'm all over that.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I mean, we're looking at it from the outside and inside that those that boardroom or that draft room
Talk about him.
with that, and they just like we don't know if there's an absolute definite that the wide receivers, 1A and 1B is what I call them, Chase and Higgins. We have a strong suspicion that we're going to be able to re-sign some of those guys, but there's absolutely no guarantee. So if you can take somebody that can even line up similar to a Higgins, like what that Princeton dude is in that round that we took him in the sixth round, you go after him because there's no guarantee that they're gonna those some of the guys that are already starting on our team are gonna be there in the next couple of years.
And chances are, dude, when you get into the sixth and seventh rounds, like your best player available is going to be an old college quarterback that played 4 years, or it's going to be a wide receiver.
Or, yeah, exactly.
Everything's
Right.
gone at that point.
Yep. Everything else is gone by that point. I mean, because it's a risk to take an interior offensive lineman or a defensive tackle at that point, because most likely that player is probably not going to be on your team or they're going to be on a practice squad. You might as well get somebody that potentially has
Special teams guy out of it.
to expand upon that. At the same time, look at our wide receiving depth at wide receiver. Look at our depth at wide receiver. Some of those guys might be better than what we already have on our team.
Yeah, yeah. I think we have too much depth, though.
I think
It is
Charlie's
possible.
better than like Stanley Morgan. You know what I mean? I think like Charlie Jones will be better than Stanley Morgan.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
You know, one of those
I get it, but fucking,
he's going up against.
there's just too much depth. I think so.
I don't think you can have too much depth.
You can, but fucking like we need players on fucking
really don't.
defense that are going to see the fucking field and shit like that. I think we might have wanted to get a couple more defensive players at that point.
Last year? It was like 6 or 7 games that Jamar and T were on the field. Both of them were on the field the entire game.
Yeah, got hurt, but there's no guarantee that's going to happen again.
Well, yeah, but there's also no guarantee that it's not.
It doesn't.
True.
Right, exactly.
Well,
So you go and get those athletic guys. And like, I want to say one more thing about Jordan Battle. How many years did he play at Alabama? Was he a junior when he came out this year?
3, yeah.
So look at the fact that guy was a 3-year starter. How many freshmen do you think Nick Saban starts?
no, that was one of the big points that they made. He doesn't do that. Yeah, big boy.
To get someone that athletic, obviously for the 3 years that he started, he's coming into a franchise with a ton of experience.
Yeah, big get for sure.
Yep, big get.
I like what we did I like what we did all around in the draft, and even if there are a couple things that I think we could have done a little bit better, I trust the process, and they know a hell of a lot better more than I do.
Yep.
You guys have any comments on the fucking the guy from Miami, DJ Ivey that we got? Because that was another good pick that I thought we had. We need a little bit of depth in cornerback to get somebody in the 7th round. A lot of people have him as like a B grade for when we got him. So seems like a good guy. I don't know much about him.
I don't know much
Played
about
33 games, 6 picks. That's about it. Ivy has length to get his hands on receivers, and so basically he's good at jamming at the line. He's really long.
Yep. Which
they got guys
playing in the fucking AFC North. Fucking, we need some physical guys.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's the thing.
Yeah, because we're gonna break Odell in half. Like what? Like I don't understand what they're $15 million for Odell Beckham. Thanks, Ravens.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, well, that's. I mean, like, look, Miles Murphy, dude. That guy is, like you said, he's a bull rush. So even putting him in, like swapping him over into a tackle position for some plays and stuff, first,
you get
first
BJ,
down.
You get BJ Hill plays off. You can switch people all over the place.
So
man.
like when freaking Hubbard and Hendrickson are coming around the edge, you've got that bull rush to where they've got to close that gap, and if they do, see ya, we're off the edge and we're coming at you.
And it's one of those things too, because like Hubbard's really, really like in my opinion, Hubbard's best thing is him like containing that edge. Like he does a very good job of making sure quarterbacks can't scramble. So if you can have any kind of interior pressure outside of DJ Reader, it's gonna be a problem.
Oh, big time. Yeah, because now we're coming at you in multiple ways.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. You guys have any more closing comments about the draft?
No, honestly, nobody really got a bad grade. Like that was like looking at it, like nobody had below like a C.
On the entirety of the draft?
Yeah,
Or
like,
just our guys?
No, the entirety of the draft, every team it looks like was able to fill needs and even then some.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that on Pat McAfee's pod, like
No,
their show.
one team actually got
Cowboys.
I think it was a G, yeah, even lower than an F, and it was the Cowboys because fuck
Yeah,
them,
I
love
saw
the
that.
stupid
But
ass
like
goddamn
McAfee even
Cowboys.
mentioned on his show, like he's like, dude, it seemed like everybody like really likes the draft for their team. Like
Yeah.
the analysts and stuff like that. Like Mel Kiper gave us an A for our
Hmm.
draft. And he's not really ever been that nice to
Yeah,
Cincinnati in
usually
their drafts.
usually the only person that likes Cincinnati's drafts is Shrags.
Yep.
That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching a pod last night, and they were going over the analysts that graded the draft that were actually, someone in that industry, and no one gave us anything less than a B.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, at the same time, now we're fucking kind of a contender in the AFC, so
Well,
Well, in
yeah,
every single one of our picks, we took at like an average of 25 picks below what they were valued.
yeah.
yes,
Like,
exactly.
did a very good job on
Yep,
taking value picks
yep.
where we
They
picked.
didn't reach. They didn't reach. They stuck to their guns, and that's a testament to Duke Tobin. I mean, he's one of the best, I think, in the league to do what he does.
That's pretty much the only reason why I was so heavy on tight end was because Duke Tobin kept saying best player available, best player available. And when I hear best player available, it just defensive end doesn't come into my mind.
Yeah,
Neither does cornerback. So I'm just like, okay, we don't need receiver. Definitely could use a receiving tight end because we have some blocking guys. So if we can run any kind of two tight end set where you just shed and run a Travis Kelsey route, perfect. It's an extra
Yeah.
check down with a guy who's even more versatile than
That's
what our
one.
guys are.
That's one thing that I will say too. When it comes down to it, we got another receiver. I think that we should have got a fucking tight end out of that because I just
We
don't.
did we did
I
sign
don't.
a tight end.
I don't think we did, but I don't see fucking Irv Smith or Sample. Neither of them have really been fucking tested. They each have the kind of one's more of a blocker, one's more of the athletic guy on the tight end side of things. But I would have liked to have that guy like Kuntz, who we were talking about the whole time, who fucking had a very high athletic score, easily could have ran two fucking tight end sets with him. It fucking would have been great, but they just didn't do it. So, and also, like, you talk about the Bengals tight end factory. If we get a guy on a rookie contract who we can keep for 4 years that's just an absolute stud, like, why wouldn't you do that? But instead we just
right.
stack up on more receivers. That doesn't make fucking sense to me. I'm sorry.
That
It
was
just
my main
doesn't.
thing was the cheap tight end. But at the same time though, like you're still paying Michael Mayer a first round draft pick salary.
That's cool.
Right.
We didn't need to get him. We could have waited. There was the tight end draft was deep.
Anybody.
The ti-
Anybody.
Yeah.
Like come the second round, the tight ends were gone.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
once Mayer got picked, that was the last like premier tight end that everybody was talking about. I mean, for the most part. So it's like
Yeah, because even that dude from Iowa, that like Schoonberger or whatever the fuck his name is, who the fuck-
Michigan,
I thought
and
he was from Iowa.
he was the first one.
I thought that was one of the Dallas Cowboy picks where people were like, really? I think that was a tight end from Michigan that they
Yeah.
picked.
Was it Michigan? I thought it was
Yeah.
Iowa. I'm pretty sure the guy I'm talking about's an Iowa guy, but I don't fucking
Let's
know.
look it up.
Regardless, there was a lot of other guys in there who people were naming as later guys that we could get, and it just didn't happen. So that was my one mistake that I think that the Bengals made in the draft. And we also didn't get fucking a new quarterback because JB sucks.
I heard that, and it was Luke Schoonmaker. It was the second round. It was the Dallas Cowboys, 58th overall, and he did play for Michigan.
Okay, cool. All right,
Shut up,
well,
Billy.
yeah, I know.
That's right. Damn it, fuck you.
All right, let's move on. Do you guys want to talk about other things? Because I could potentially talk about the Reds' attendance because just being a Cincinnati guy, and could even stick in for the NBA playoffs. I just can't really say much about the NBA playoffs because I haven't actually watched most of it. Just been following it a little bit. So
Yeah, me either. I'm the kind of the same way. I could talk about the Reds' attendance and a little bit about the play. I mean, kind of surprised if you want to kind of jump into it. The NBA, I was surprised by the Grizzlies out in the first round. I know.
there's been two upsets now.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I hate to see LeBron go anywhere, but
Yeah, you're stupid, dude.
Home.
We get it. You don't like
And-
fucking LeBron, but like it's
Hate
LeBron
him.
fucking James, dude. He's still doing shit at fucking damn near 40 years old. Like
Hate
he
him.
is just with longevity, he's the greatest fucking player of all time.
And
no,
Yeah. It's not even close, dude. It's really not.
No.
It's not.
and
no.
He
We
is
could have
him.
an entire podcast about that.
I
But anyway,
that's fine. I'll do a twice as long of a podcast over just because LeBron's accolades are twice as long
we
as
could do an
Michael's.
entire
I'll go
podcast.
ahead
Like
and
it's a thing.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, other than some of the upsets, I mean, I haven't really watched a whole lot of it. Kind of sucked to see the Kings lose to the Warriors just because I like
Yeah.
Malik Monk and De'Aaron Fox.
Well, the only thing about that is, though, it does set up that whole like Warriors Lakers or LeBron Warriors rivalry that we got going
Right.
on, because that was
Right.
going on when he was in Cleveland. But that's cool. But you're right. I did really want to see Golden State get dethroned first round. All that good shit, because I don't think. Has LeBron ever lost in the first round of the playoffs? I know he didn't make it last year, but I don't think he's ever lost in the first round of the playoffs. Because his
maybe
entire
once.
first 10 years
Maybe
at fucking
once.
in the league, he was fucking in the goddamn Eastern Conference Finals every fucking year. Even probably on to that, because that's just a freakish statistic right there. But yeah, it does suck that they lost.
Yeah. For the first time, I think it was 2020. I think it was last year.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
2022.
last year.
And that was
It was
probably
the
the first time
First time he ever got first rounded.
or he did make the playoffs and got first rounded.
Yeah, it's the only time he's ever been first rounded.
Yeah,
How many
When he
NBA
was
finals has he
37
been in?
years old. 9.
9. I think.
How many has he won?
And dude, I think that he's been in the Eastern Championship game every year except for last, no matter what.
So he's been in 9 finals. How many has he won? How many titles has he won?
4.
4.
How many title or championships was Jordan
6, and he won 6.
6.
Yeah.
in? Okay, cool.
How many?
That same
How many
team
Hall
went
of
to
Fame?
the
How many
finals the
Hall of
next year
Fame?
without him.
How many Hall of
just-
Famers? How many
over
people were in the
here,
Hall of
yeah.
Fame that
Yeah.
were on the 96, 97 Bulls, and how many people are going to be in the Hall of Fame that were on the 2017 Cavs?
Yeah. The first 10 years that
'Cause-
fucking he was at the Cavs, is
'cause
there any
the-
single fucking NBA All-Star? Even like an
All right,
All-Star?
moving on.
Because
yeah, hey, you want
Tristan
to do
Thompson
it.
hasn't.
moving on.
Tristan
I
Thompson
just said
has an
my
All Star.
He's right though.
LeBron.
He's right though. We should move past the fucking LeBron Jordan thing. You're the one that brought it up though. Just so you know.
I just
so you know,
asked a
Wallet.
That's some
couple
bitch shit.
questions.
The
I just
second he
asked a
realized
couple
he was
questions.
wrong, he just started backing down.
I know,
That's
because he
Well,
doesn't
I'm
know what he's
not
talking
wrong. I
about.
proved
He
my
just fucking
point, and
hates
we can move
LeBron.
on.
No, you're not really proving a
proved my
point. You're
point,
just
and we
fucking.
can- we can
You're just
move
one of
on.
those bitch ass motherfuckers that fucking wants to run a goddamn mouth but not back it up with anything.
Who are the Knicks playing right now?
The Knicks are playing the Heat, who upset the
Heat.
Bucks, which you hate to
Yep.
see, because I do kind of like the Bucks, but
Butler.
Jimmy Butler in the playoffs, man, is something else. That was an 8
Another
over a
level.
1. I don't know
Yep.
how many
Bam
times that's even
Adebayo.
happened. Do you
Michael
guys,
Bam.
Jordan's son, dude.
Do you
Jimmy
guys-
Butler is Michael Jordan's son.
do you guys know how many times an 8 has upset a 1 seed in the NBA playoffs? Because I don't know if that's ever happened before.
Oh, it's happened.
It has.
It's happened.
I'll look it up
It
real
happens
quick.
more frequent than a 16 over a 1
Oh,
in
yeah.
college basketball.
Well,
That's
yeah.
for sure.
Let's see. It doesn't even say. It just says they make history, but it doesn't say how many.
Okay,
But-
well,
It happened in 94. It happened in 99. It's happened a couple times.
Still, that's not that much. So I get your
No.
point, Spilly. It doesn't happen. It's
Yeah.
a pretty rare
Yeah.
occurrence that happens.
and also with the way things are, like if you took a look at going into the playoffs, the NBA like race in the West, it was like fucking 4 through 10 were all within 3 games of each other for like the last month of the season. It was
Right.
some crazy fucking shit like that, and there were a couple standouts, but the one standout did lose. And then as the Nets ended up losing, but I think they ended up dropping back because before they lost Kyrie, they were up there like a 3 seed. I can't remember if they were the West or not, but they dropped back a whole bunch, and then yeah. But besides that, we had a 7 upset of 2 and a 1 or 8 upset of 1.
Yep.
And coming down
It's anyone's game this year.
it really is, but I think LeBron might be making a run, y'all. I don't know how you feel about that, Stolzy, but they're playing good ball right now. And
this is
people
my
have been
hot
talking
take
about
right
how
here.
good their defense has been playing.
This is LeBron's best team he's ever been on.
Sorry, I
It is-
unplugged my mic.
Oh, sorry.
It is his most complete team he's ever been on. It's the most help he's ever had. Out like you can say the Heat, but the thing is, once you got to Bosch and once you got to Dwayne Wade, you had a old Ray Allen, you had Mike Miller, who was a fucking starter. You had Birdman. Then in Cleveland, you have Matthew Dellavedova, Iman Shumpert, Tristan Thompson. Like
Yeah.
now, you look at the role players that LeBron has on this Lakers team, and LeBron can go sit out for 10 minutes
Yeah.
and not be down 15 points when he comes back in like he was in Cleveland when he had to literally play 38 minutes a game.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think this, like, dude, he's got a real chance. A part of me thinks it's winner of this series takes it, like takes the finals. Like I think this is kind of the finals, but
I don't
I
know,
don't know.
man. The Heat and Knicks are both in the no, they're in the East.
Neither one of those teams can keep up with the Warriors in scoring though if the
No,
Warriors get
gosh,
out.
no.
Who else do we
Yeah,
Like
have?
if the
absolutely.
Warriors, if that's why I think if the Warriors win this series, they win it all. Like
Well,
that's I think this is the championship.
who do we got here? I'm trying to figure out because the Celtics and
I
Sixers.
don't.
Oh, we got the Nuggets and Suns, man. Fucking dude, the Suns are that new super team that just came in. Like they got Durant and who
I
else
don't
did they?
trust it.
They got. But I mean, it's hard to trust Durant when it comes to like not choking unless he's literally on the best fucking NBA team of all time.
Oh, and it's not even that. It's the fact that he doesn't even have a full season with these dudes. Like he came over like way
It was
into
like a
like
month ago.
halfway into the. It was like halfway into the season, and then he didn't
It was
play for the
more.
first while that he was there.
Yeah,
So like he just started playing with these dudes, so they're
but
still feeling each other out as they're going into the playoffs.
I
And
get that. But the Nuggets are also pretty good too, and Denver's up 2-0 actually over the Suns. But that's the number
that's
one
what
seed.
that's what I'm saying. Like I don't trust them, but like Dallas or the Nuggets, like they're good.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like they always have like Jamal Murray gets hurt all the time. So like past couple years in the playoffs, like they always ended up catching an injury bug, so they couldn't keep on pushing through. So it's like if they stay healthy, I can definitely obviously see them making it out of the West. But I just, dude, the Warriors like all of
No,
a sudden the Warriors can just score 25 points, dude.
no Heat, Celtics, 76ers.
I don't think so. I think the Sixers make it out of there. I think the Sixers are the best team overall, and they'll have the best. Like when I'm looking at these series, like I always like try to match it up player by player, and I just think the 76ers whenever they're on the court in the East are gonna have the best player on the floor.
Right.
So in a 7 game series, I'm gonna take the team with the best player on the floor, which is why I never say LeBron's gonna lose,
Yeah.
especially in a
Exactly. No,
series. You got to beat them 4 times.
I was looking at that and like even before the playoffs even started, I was like, I bet teams are just hoping that the fucking Lakers aren't making it in because that just has
100%.
upset written all over it. Fucking,
100%.
you can't go against LeBron in the fucking playoffs. No matter how much you hate him, you can't fucking do it. So I think you're right. Personally, I don't think that Golden State is going to be able to keep up with the Lakers this year. And those are two teams that I probably know the most about this year. I think the Golden State's just way down. So I would see it, but there are definitely some teams that I could see doing it. That's
Defending champs, dude.
that's
Like,
one thing that I like about this year in the NBA playoffs. This is like the first year that you really can't predict who's going to be in the finals since the beginning of the year, and it's highly competitive this year in my opinion. So we'll see what happens, man. Fucking, you guys want to go anywhere else with what we got?
yeah, let me roast the Reds for a second.
Okay, no, you got nothing to say about the
It's not.
playoffs, Wallet.
No, not anymore. I mean, not anymore than we just talked about it. But you are right, Spilly. It's everyone's game.
Yep.
Anyone's game this year, and I like that. I mean, I think makes things competitive a little bit. I hate that in college basketball, but I don't mind it in NBA. I like the blue bloods in college. So,
Yep.
but yeah, go ahead and roast the Reds, Stolzy.
Okay, so the Reds are obviously like just the most abysmal,
Done.
just horrible, terrible. Select adjective, whatever you want.
So
Put it
I've
there.
heard.
It's so bad. Anyway, the attendance, the whole "where are you going to go" thing that Castellini came out and said on opening day 2 years ago. We found other places to go. The Reds announced 7,375 fans attended the club's series opener Monday against the Tampa Bay Rays. It was the smallest crowd in the 20-year history of the ballpark, including all of the games that were capped at 30% capacity during the 2021 season during the
wow.
COVID-19 pandemic restrictions.
Oh, wow.
That is terrible.
Yeah, no.
And here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. Elder High School, the pit, holds 10,000.
Well,
Elder High, my alma mater. I will always love that name.
we will
Elder
always
will
love
put
that name.
Elder will put 10,000 people in that stadium to play West High on a Friday night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's how embarrassing this is for the Reds.
Yeah.
Like
I'm kind of looking through it though. Like, The Reds aren't even close to the last team in the MLB. So, like, why is it? Is it just that we've lost so much faith in the fucking ownership and the team that like people don't want to go?
Yeah, I would say this is about 70% boycott and 30% they're just not putting a competitive product on the field.
Yeah.
Like they're actively like talking about trying to save money and make money and do everything like that, which is just the worst business. Like I don't know what PR people these guys have,
Right.
but it is just the worst. Like you don't talk money.
No, like that. How exciting is that for people on the outside looking in, and they're just like, oh yeah, that makes me want to go to a Reds game.
Yeah, especially when Castellini definitely seems like he's blackout drunk and getting in front of Brandon Sejo's camera
Yep.
on the first base line and just doubling down on everything he said.
Yep.
It's like, dude,
Zero fucks.
like, get this guy on a leash, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
And it's getting to the point for me where like Oakland is selling their team to Oakland's moving to Vegas. Like not officially, but Oakland's owners just bought a whole plot of land in Vegas and they're getting all the permits started to get ready to build. It's getting to the point where like I almost want the MLB to come in and like say you guys have to sell the team.
You want Cincinnati to get rid of the first fucking MLB baseball team?
That's not going to happen.
I want ownership forced out by the fucking league.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh, okay. Well,
because like if you're the commissioner of the league, if you're a commissioner of the league and you have multiple teams that are like purposely not putting a good product on the field and just throwing beer league softball players out there, it's like at what like do you want them there? Like if you're a boss and you have all these people that are really good at their job and you got some dude in the back just kicking lug nut buckets over and spilling shit everywhere, like that's what the Reds are. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like
they're
Stolzy just defined himself as an employee.
Well,
oh, dude, yeah.
The one thing that I will say about the Reds,
this podcast has to work.
Yeah, it does. The one thing I will say about fucking the Reds or like just Cincinnati fan base in general when it comes to sports or whatever, if you do not put a good team, or at least not even a good team, a fucking average team on the field. Yeah. God damn it, will we boycott, and we will be a terrible shithead bunch of people to fucking have a team.
The thing is, that doesn't make us a bad sports city. Like Cincinnati as a whole is a very good sports city. Like the thing is like when you say where are you gonna go, FC Cincinnati's selling out everything.
I'll give
the Cyclones are in the playoffs right now.
I'll give it to you.
People are finding places.
I'll give it to you. It is a sports city, but when it comes down to it, fucking the fans are a little bit too fair weather for my tasting, man. Because some of them are just like fucking. The second you don't make the playoffs, it's like we have a good team that's rebuilding. Fucking give it some time. There's motherfuckers like ZT's first year, like get rid of him. He fucking sucks. With fucking like we get Joe Burrow, like what the fuck are we doing here? And then all of a sudden they make the AFC Championship game the next year, and it's like now everybody absolutely loves the fucking team. That's the shit that I don't like about Cincinnati fans. That fucking absolutely aggravates the shit out of me. If you weren't there at 2-14, don't fucking come to fucking 12-4. No, it's not. Spilly. I don't really think it is.
Absolutely,
I do because fucking look at our closest. Look at our fucking closest guy, the closest team up north, fucking in Cleveland. Worst franchise in the history of fucking any professional sport that there is, and their fans are die hard. They will sell out every fucking game. It's not every fucking. It's not even every fan in Ohio, dude. No.
No,
Tell me the Cowboys fans are like that? I mean, Cowboys are toxic for a different reason, but fucking, you think Oakland fans are like that?
I'm in literally all these groups of all these fans. Do you know how many fucking Bills fans were suicidal over the fucking divisional game?
Of course, because when it comes down to it, the Bills and fucking Lions, the Bills,
every single team.
Listen,
every team has shitty fans.
Listen. You have teams like the Bills who fucking were literally the second last team to not have a playoff win. That was them. So like that's completely understandable. Then you even have the Lions who are probably the second worst franchise, unlike the Browns that I talked about, but their fans are even fucking good.
Why are the Bills understandable, but the Bengals aren't when they're in the exact same position?
The Bengals aren't fucking. It's
the exact same position up until 2 years ago.
That's the point that I was trying to make.
But then why are you saying that the Bills is understandable, but the Bengals isn't?
Because the fucking Bills come from the same type of same fan base. They come from the fucking shitty ass team. They fucking have the fucking bullshit ass fucking boycotts and shit like that, and now they have a good team, which is what it is. I'm not going to hate on people for having a good team, but like they're not the diehard fans like some of the other ones, like the Browns are, like the fucking
Showing up,
Cowboys fans are, like fucking Lions fans are.
showing up for bad owners and still making them money does not make you a good fan.
Not necessarily, but
No.
I would argue it makes you a good fan.
Not showing up when Mike Brown doesn't want to give a fucking dime to anybody, not showing up and boycotting, saying we want a better product on the field. We're still Bengals fans. You haven't lost any Bengals fans. We're all still here. We're just not watching right now because you don't give a shit about the team. So why should I?
Yeah,
You're the direct investor. So why should I?
but look what
If you wanna
happened.
care, I'll care. I'm not going to invest my energy into it.
I mean, we have two different viewpoints on it because I support my team no matter what. Fucking like the Bengals are always going to be my team. I'm always going to do them. If they need to be boycotted, like that is what it is. Don't go to games.
Trade Joe Burrow. You're a Bengals fan.
My family, if they trade from Joe Burrow, yes, I am still a fucking Bengals fan. Yes.
You're a fucking idiot.
I'm not, but at the same time, like I won't fucking. There's a difference though. Like I will be a fan of it. I won't turn my back on the team just because we go fucking 2-14. But I still will boycott. Fucking me and my family have always done that shit until Mike Brown. Almost all my family does not have. Listen, almost all my family does not have season tickets anymore because of Mike Brown. They said, you know what? Fuck this guy. We're absolutely done. They're not going to have any success until he's off the field. They boycott it, but they're still there, still supporting the team, or not at the game, but they're still watching the games.
Dude, no, I just want to say one thing. If they traded Joe Burrow tomorrow, I would be outside of Mike Brown's house with a pitchfork and a brick.
Yeah, we'd all be pissed, but I'm still going to fucking still
okay.
be a Bengals fan.
No, I would not watch one of those
You
games
wouldn't.
and boycott of the dumbest decision. And I think I see your points, Billy, but I feel like that I mean, making dumb decisions and stupid ownership and just saying, you know what, I'm not like I haven't watched one Reds game this year. Granted, I think if they were
You can boycott and
correct,
still be a
even
fan.
if they were granted, even if they were relevant, I mean, maybe I'd probably pay a little bit more attention. I'm just not much of a baseball fan, but at the same time, yeah, I'm what Castellini said even before he was like, there's a meme that was like, get in, we're getting rid of everybody because he doesn't care, and it's evident that he doesn't care with the product that he has put on the field. And as a Cincinnati fan, that is why we have the perception we have from outside of our city as being a shitty sports city because
we have a high
ownership,
a high bar, man.
Yeah, absolutely, and our fans will
first baseball team,
right, and our fans are going to let and they've let an ownership know, being the fourth lowest attendance team this year, fourth. We have like an average of 15,000 people, I think, that show up to that stadium, and there's been a lot of games that have been like under 5,000. That's terrible.
It's a joke, dude. Like
it's a joke, and like you said, it's beer league softball. The freaking old timers beer league softball. The freaking elderly fuckers.
The games are literally more competitive than these games. I
right?
Swear.
Yeah. Go to Westside on a weekend during the Rumpke tournament or whatever the fuck it is. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, dude, some of these conference guys that play like pro softball, like some of these dudes could probably go play for the Reds just because they make foul tip with a ball and they're just like, yeah, I'll take league minimum. It's like, dude, I can do that.
Yeah, I mean, they probably go and drink with Castellini.
I will strike out every at bat, and I'll take league minimum. You want me to catch a fly ball? I can do that for sure.
Let me ask you this, Stolzy. So, what is the solution? We've just talked about the problem for 10 minutes. What's the solution?
Hang Castellini in Fountain Square.
Let's do it.
Okay, so the realistic.
I'm just good
solution.
for a good old lynching, bro.
So Castellini being there, I guess obviously nothing could probably be even a real solution with him still in charge.
No, with him still in charge, the only thing that can happen is a salary cap, which I've said before, like it'll never happen because it's all through the players union, and the players union got a league with no salary cap, and they're never going to go backwards on it.
Absolutely not.
So it's just one of those things where I don't know what like baseball's so far gone. Like
bring back Marge Shot, Digger burns up,
Digger burns up, and yeah. But there's really outside of Castellini selling the team to a guy who actually wants to put money into the team, that's the only option.
Okay.
A salary cap in baseball.
Gotcha.
And like that's just never gonna happen.
Yep.
Well, we
Okay.
also said that about Mike Brown for years and years and years, and like he's still technically the owner, but he's not under the management anymore. So
He's
maybe
not
there's a
doing
chance.
nearly as much in that role
Yeah.
as what he has in the past, and it's definitely shown.
But the point is,
Yeah,
maybe there is a
Duke
chance.
Tobin is doing everything that he used to do.
Right.
Yeah.
But the point is, maybe there is a chance. So
We also have a guy by the name of Joseph Lee Burrow.
Yeah, my friend Joe.
Yeah. I'm gonna get
My
his
good friend
tattoo
Joe.
on my back.
okay. Do we have anything else to say? I just want to like close with one point about the MLB. The only reason I'm not the best player in the league is because I hate baseball. Just saying.
Billy, I'll blow a fastball by you.
No, you won't. Shut up, dude. Fucking.
I'll drink the beer and eat the hot dog
give me,
in the
give me a
stand.
12 pack in 30
Hold on.
minutes. I'm gonna be the fucking all time hitter, bro. Coming to Great
Thursday night-
Spilbino.
I play ball. I
All
play
right.
ball Thursday night at Westside.
So hold on, Stolzy, you come over to my house when we do a summer podcast on the deck, and I'll get a baseball bat and a baseball, and we'll go in the backyard.
I got all the
Okay,
shit.
you bring the
You
shit.
got a nice backyard for it too. It's nice and flat.
Yeah.
And fucking
See if you can
decent
hit that in
size.
the woods, Billy.
See if you can get that wiffle ball through the years or through the woods, man.
If you can hit it that far in the woods, Stolzy has to go find it.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do
I
it.
was completely joking, but fucking,
No, I
it
want
is
to.
what it is.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm in.
Oh, you guys done with the attendance thing?
Yeah.
I don't think we have any other closing comments before we end episode 13 of Your House or Rules. So this is the
Fuck
end.
you, Castellini's.
Fuck the Castellinis.
I love Joe Burrow.
Peace.
Beautiful eye.